All right, everybody. Cool. Jacob, well, I'll just start with you since we're on right now. Hey, good job doing your CMA with adjustments.
Thank you.
Did you see my notes?
I did see your notes, and I was like, okay, I need to do that on the next ones.
Yeah.
I had my cheat sheet and I lost it at an open house. It's in my
Nope.
bag with my laptop, and Magdalena still has it.
Oh, all right. No worries. We'll get you set up on that.
Yeah, so I did it off of memory, and then the additional notes that you gave me, I'm like, okay, I think I can do it without the cheat sheets.
Yeah, cool. Hey, we have an iPhone guest. I don't know who it is.
Not
Who
me.
who are you, iPhone? Unmute thyself. No? Yes?
Karina, I didn't get the link.
Hey, Karina, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Yeah, so uh these are realtors. All of us are realtors. That means we're bouncing in and out of training. Plenty of people are going to review this video later, including Courtney and Brandy and Desiree, and I don't know, too many for me to remember right off the top of my head. But today we are going to go through the presentation, and there are probably really three foundational pages to that listing presentation. Jacob, have you looked over the listing presentation? Stephanie, I know you have.
I think I've looked over it once. I have
Okay.
it pulled up though.
Okay. Karina, have you looked it over before?
Yeah, I think I did it once.
Nice. We're on the iPhone. Will you be able to see this? The training today?
I
Karina?
don't know because I didn't get your link for me to join.
Oh, well, let me send that to you over right now. Hold, please. Do, 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 do.
Hmm.
There it is, titled Zoom. Okay, thanks. Thanks everybody for your patience. If we need to go over a little bit today, we can. Also, I have a super big surprise for y'all. Dun, 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 dun. So, let me see. Okay, very good. Here we go. Two shakes. I'm going to. Oh, that's interesting. Is it? Where's the share button now? Let me see. There it is. It's funny when you are on record. Apparently, you have. Admit. There we go. Karina's coming back in. Very good. Apparently. Hey, Karina.
Hi.
Uh-oh, you got to turn your phone off, Karina.
Oh,
Otherwise, we're getting awesome feedback. So,
okay. Go ahead and
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Value Demand. This is the presentation, and this takes fair market value, fully adjusted fair market value based on appraisal guidelines and adjustments. So it takes your fully adjusted CMA and marries it to the trade-up program. And this is the presentation, AKA the listing presentation, that we use to bring it to the consumer. So when you sit down with your seller, this is what you can use. You can use all of it, or you can use part of it. It is a Canva file, so you can move your branding onto it if you want to. And I'm going to start giving you little projects to do. So at the end of today's hour-long episode, I'm going to give you some projects that you can do with this presentation to start to really absorb it, okay? So we're going to start with a group quiz, and it's fully participatory. There we go. What are the 4 guidelines for appraisal? There are 4 guidelines for appraisal. Jacob, give me any one of the 4 guidelines. When you set up a search on your MLS to pull comps, you're going to use these 4 guidelines. So, what are
one of them would be the year.
one of them is a year, but that's a secondary one.
Square footage.
Yeah, square footage, size. That's one of them for sure. Give me another one of them. That
The
was yours.
distance.
Yes,
The
distance.
distance.
What is the distance?
1 mile.
1 mile
Right.
radius. That is number 2. What is number 3?
The
Time.
square footage.
We already said square footage. What did you say, Steph?
Time, 6 months back.
Yes, time. You're going to pull the comps from the last 6 months.
And condition.
All right. And so this is the page on the listing presentation where we review the information of appraisal with our clients before we actually give them the fully adjusted CMA. So this is the script that I use when this slide comes up. About 75% of homes need a loan to be sold, and that means there will be an appraisal. I'd like to take 5 to 10 minutes so I can teach you the basics of appraisal. And then I usually say, what do you think? Or how is that? And they go, sure. And then I go through the 4 most basic guidelines for appraisal: distance, size, time, and condition. And then after I go through the condition, I'm going to ask them, does that make sense? And sometimes they'll have a follow-up question about condition, like, well, what if only one of the bathrooms is done? And you can say, well, that might be an 8.5, right? The next thing you want to do is consult with them. So you've given them a piece of information, you test for their competency, they understand it, and then you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think is the condition of your home? And they're going to give you a number. So Steph, what do you think the condition of your home is?
Go with the 8.
An 8, great. And there's nothing for you to say, but that's good information. Now, if their home's really a 9, sometimes I might tell them that, but I just want to start with what they know about their house. So now that I've gone through that one sheet on appraisal, and I've asked them what their condition is, I will say, I've now created a fully adjusted fair market valuation of your home. It's called a CMA, a comparative market analysis, and it's using appraisal guidelines and adjustments. And I'm going to show you what your home would likely appraise for. Before I do, what do you think your home is worth? Now, I might already know what they think their home is worth because they've told me, or maybe they told me one time when I first walked through their house. Sometimes when I'm out door knocking, somebody invites me to their house. I already know the condition, but I'm still going to go through that one sheet on appraisal, and I'm still going to ask them, what do you think your house is? And they're going to tell me, and I'll still ask them again, what do you think your home is worth? And sometimes they say, well, I don't know, based on what you told me about appraisal, and I think it's maybe, I don't know, a 7.5. It's worth X. And maybe if they told me the first time I saw them, I think my home is worth 1.2. The next time they might go, well, maybe 150. And then I said, what do you think your home is appraised for? And they will say, no idea. What I'm doing is I'm bringing them to a common understanding that I have, which is there's a difference between what they think and what we know about appraisal. And we've already set the standard. 75% of the buyers are gonna need an appraisal in order for you to sell your house. So now let's talk about appraisal. Then I'm gonna go through the CMA and I'm gonna highlight. You see, I just threw some highlighter on there. I'm gonna highlight where those adjustments are to make it easy, at least for the first column. I'm gonna highlight those adjustments, and then I'm gonna deliver the price. So the fully adjusted fair market value of this home at 8202 Mary Circle is $1,496,155. Now, this right there is totally different than they've ever experienced before, because I'm giving them real specifics. Most agents show up, go, here, this home sold at this price in this many days, here are the pictures, this one this many days, here are the pictures, this one, and then they say, what do you want to sell your home at? And they pick the highest price they can think of, and then the agent goes, well, I think it's more like this, and then they argue about the price, and it's very confusing. Now, up front, we're saying it appraises for exactly this. Any questions on this so far?
Are you showing it on your screen share?
Do you not see it? Oh,
I
it's,
see Canva.
oh,
Because
yeah.
I noticed you said you highlighted something, and I was like, oh.
Oh no. Let me stop the share and I'll go back to my full screen. So sorry. No wonder why. More technical difficulties with your friend. Can you guys see this now?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Let me just go back a couple slides for a sec. Again, this is the fair market value one sheet that is in the listing presentation that you have. Here is the script. I'm going to send you guys a copy of the class today as well. This is the consultation that I use on a scale of 1 to 10. What do you think is the condition of your home? What do you think your home is worth? And then what do you think your house would appraise for, right? I'm narrowing the understanding because I want to have a super specific conversation. This is what the comparative market analysis looks like on the left, 8202 Mary Circle. This is the highlights and adjustments. And then at the bottom you see, and this would be the last sheet of your comparative market analysis, the fully adjusted fair market value of this home using appraisal guidelines is $1,496,155. Very specific. Now, I'm gonna wait 3 beats. After I drop the price, I'm just gonna not say anything. $1,496,155. The thing I've heard most often, if there is any pushback on the price, is, well, we were hoping for X, or we wanted X. And then I say, I want to get you more. They say that, and I say, I want to get you more. And then I wait another 1 or 2 beats, and they're usually okay. I go, may I show you how we do that? And they're going to say, of course. And then it's on to the next slide, which is the fair market value supply and demand slide. So I explain supply and demand to them. In other words, how hot the market is. The higher the demand ratio, the hotter the market. And I'll show their supply and demand. This is what the supply and demand was for Mary Circle. There were 25 homes in escrow and 23 that were active that you could buy. And when you divide the in escrow by the active, you get 108% demand. And that is a hot market. You see from the previous slide. Oh, sorry, this is my Canva screwed that up when I transferred it over. It's correct. The placement of it is correct on your listing presentation. And then I give them an example of how this pricing strategy has worked in the market. So this house at 332 Segovia Avenue in San Gabriel, the fully adjusted fair market value of this home was $1,502,000. We strategically priced it 7% under the fair market value at $1,389,000. And it sold 7% above the fair market value when we got 10 offers at $1,640,000. Any questions on this?
No.
What I don't want is you guys to be impressed with me. This is an example of what I've done. And you need to transfer this skill to you, right? That's the most important thing, that when you show up to that listing presentation, you show up, one, with expertise in pricing. In other words, you know how to do appraisal guidelines and adjustments, right? That's one. Expertise with pricing. Expertise in strategy, which is this. What I want you to do is do your own slide of demand creates value. And you might be able to, Karina, you've sold lots of properties. And it doesn't matter when you sold the property, but have you ever sold a property that started here and went to here? Have you
Well,
ever?
not too much. I did, but not as much as that. I've never done that before. I would always price it properly, but not under market.
Well, I think pricing it under market is pricing it properly because it actually sells over market. And especially in this market, there are some areas you go to, like Jacob's area, where their supply and demand does not look like ours on the coast. He's inland Empire, right? Or San Gabriel Valley, or however you want to parse it out, but he's at least 25 miles inland, and they have a lot more supply on the market. Their demand ratio is much lower.
Right.
So what I want you guys to do, and since Jacob, it's just really you and Karina, and of course Stephanie, who works with me on the call right now, or on the Zoom, I should say. Since it's the three of you, really, Jacob, probably you and Karina should pair up. You guys can trade info, or I'll put you together and do your own slide. This is for the next week, okay? Now I'll show you why. Because we are adding value to you. At Value Demand, we are adding a Value Demand Lab. So we will have the typical Thursday lesson from 12 to 1, where we go through these fundamental things, right? The first week, we're going through how to use appraisal guidelines and adjustments to get fair market value on your CMA. The second week of the month, we're always doing the trade up program, how to use it. The third week, we're always covering the presentation. And then the fourth week, we're always doing marketing stuff, right? Now we're going to add one on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 p.m. And this is not, we're not going to cover new information. We're going to let you guys work on these projects and then bring them back, and I'll tweak them a little bit. So the first Tuesday of the month, you'll do what you did, Jacob, and you'll, instead of emailing me that FMV, you'll join the lab, and together we'll be able to work through those things and tweak on them, right? So that's the first Tuesday following that first Thursday, right? So it lags a little bit, right? So this next week, this next Tuesday, this next coming Tuesday, we will cover some of this presentation stuff that we went through. I want you guys to partner up and practice that part of the strategy. You could do the whole listing presentation, those 3 really fundamental slides of the listing presentation, and practice them on video. You know, you might practice just having a Zoom, Jacob and Karina, or, you know, Karina and Stephanie, I know you guys know each other, you might be more comfortable, but I would say maybe practice with somebody you're a little uncomfortable with. Just, and it's also good to network, right? I mean, Karina, you could learn a lot about the inland property, and Jacob, you certainly could learn about the coastal stuff. I'm sure if you ever had a listing presentation or opportunity in Newport Beach for a $4 million house, you'd do it if you could do it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And Jacob, you're starting to actually know a little bit about what it's like to sell in Huntington. You came in and shouted me door knocking, right?
Yes. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. So I'll tell you that house that we gave all those invitations to, Courtney and I invited 500 people door knocking. We ended up having 50 parties through the grand opening, and also one of the real estate agents in our area actually lives in that neighborhood, so he saw Courtney on his Ring camera, and he was already planning on bringing clients, and he probably knew or heard, definitely I told him, what our grand opening was like, and he actually brought the buyer. We are now in escrow, and that house sold all cash, list price $1,399,000, and it sold all cash, no contingencies, 7-day close for $1,525,000. All because the setup was right, The sellers knew the strategy, believed in it. The demand was there because we had, I think, between Courtney and I, we got 5 buyers' phone numbers off that grand opening. When I do the grand opening, we have a sign-in sheet, but people don't really use that. I actually use the Notes app on my phone, and what you can see whenever it's highlights, you can tell I put a phone number in there because it highlights it in yellow. I don't know if you can see it that well. Anyways, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phone numbers actually. 2 of the numbers were a couple. They gave me both numbers. I'm like, okay. So that was 6 parties gave me phone numbers, and I think Courtney got 3 others. So that's 9 contacts because it's priced right. There's demand, and now that cash offer, when it came in, it said, you know, I'm giving you the offer now before you go to your Wednesday offer review, and I've written the offer such so that it could be accepted. Called me ahead of time, right? Asked what would do it, and he said, I got all cash, and I got quick close for you. And I said, well, all you have to do now is just lift all the contingencies on day 1, and they did that. So we actually took that on Tuesday night before we hit our Wednesday offer review. This is what skill and strategy does for our sellers, and then what it does for us, both in selling that property, but also on the buyer side, right? More opportunity, more people who are like, well, you guys list properties, right? I want to know you. All right. Any questions about that, you guys? Thoughts, comments? I can backtrack.
So you said the offer was for listed price, right?
No,
No, it was above.
they made the offer at $1,525,000 because that agent was talking to me ahead of time. Well, our list price was $1,399,000, and they offered $1,525,000. I had one other cash offer that offered $1,425,000. I told him ahead of time, and it says in the MLS, in the multiple listing service, it says home is priced below the comparable sales in this track. Seller expects that it will sell for higher. That is CYA, everybody. You know what CYA stands for?
No.
Cover your
No.
backside.
Yeah.
That is CYA because it is what is recommended if you know your value is higher than what you list for. That's actually the California Association of Realtors website suggests that. So that is something I add now to my listings. Any other questions where we're at right now?
No.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is our MLS. Look, everybody, it's the multiple listing service. It's your friend, the multiple listing service. Do any of you know how to pull the supply and demand number from the multiple listing service?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Then I need you to know. In fact, it's my job to teach you. Because if you guys are gonna effectively teach your sellers the right price and the right strategy, you should know supply and demand. So here we go. You put what is active, not coming soon because it's not on the market. What's under contract, which is active under contract and pending, right? That do you know the difference, Jacob or Karina, between active under contract or pending?
Yes, pending is already a done deal. I mean, they already took off all their contingencies. Under
Boom.
contract is still, they're still under contract, but they're getting backup offers.
Karina, you'll be surprised. A lot of real estate agents do not know that. They do not understand the difference. There's a technical difference between those two. They do not understand it.
Mm.
So if you look at 8202 Mary Circle on the multiple listing service right now, you would find it says pending because right when we got the offer, they removed all their contingencies. My light just went out, everybody.
To move.
I know. Thank you. All right. So you take active under contract, and pending, and then you describe your area. Well, I'll just go back to 8202 Mary Circle. The address pops up and you click on it. Now it says map area selected. That's how you know you have it. Now I could pull a 1 mile radius. That's the same as the appraisal guideline, right? That is micro market. Micro meaning small or very tight market, right? But you should also be looking at the macroeconomics anytime you're looking at supply and demand. So I'm going to actually pull from a 3 mile radius. And you see my numbers went from 79 to 305. More data means less anomalies and more continuity. I'm also going to put in here single family. So it now goes down to 182. And then I'm going to put in here that the property is not attached. And it drops to 168. There is a retirement community that's legal description is SFR in this area. And that is the landmark community. And so I need to make sure I don't pull those numbers into my numbers. So I put detached, right? Because I want like for like. I want my numbers to be right. So now I hit results, click all, and down here at the bottom it says stats. So you hit the stats button, and then tabular, and it's going to give you the numbers. You take the pending, which is 33 or 30, plus the active under contract, which is 30. That equals 63, and you divide it by the active, which is 105. And that equals 60%. Just so happens that's exactly 60%.
So it's pending plus active under contract equals,
No, divided by active.
oh, divided by,
You
okay.
can go equals and then divided by,
No,
but the
divide.
shortest math equation that I write out for that is pending plus active
Active.
active under contract divided by
Divided
active.
by
right?
active.
If I'm making notes, that's the note I would make. Now, if you go back to the listing presentation that I use and look at that graph, you'll see that 60% is falling probably, right in that 5 to 10% range. So it should be priced 5 to 10% below the fair market value. Now, there might be some other things that are in that number. We can also shrink it, move it. Because I know Huntington Beach really well, I'm gonna back out of that. And rather than doing the 3 mile radius, I'm gonna make it coastal, right? I'm gonna take that out, clear the map, go back to the map tab up top. This is particular to our MLS, the SoCal Matrix MLS. And I'm gonna go to the map and I'm gonna draw just a polygon here that covers just Huntington Beach, about 2 miles inland, all the way across to Newport Beach. Because this is only a mile to the beach, this particular house. So I want stuff that's more in that market, right? That's a very particular market. So now I see the results are takes it a minute, a total of 71 and 130. That's 71 divided by 130 equals 54.5%. That's not great. But look at the average price, everybody. This is a very high price. I'm gonna tell you a little secret that a lot of agents don't know because they don't look at market economics on their multiple listing service. 80%, between 75 and 80% of our property sells below 2 million. 2 million is the cutoff to luxury. And the fair market value of this particular house was 1.5. So what if we dropped out at least the luxury part and we just put 0 to 2 million? Now, see, I'm parsing the information. It's not just the numbers, but how we define those numbers or the parameters that we put in that really makes the correct vision for what's going on in the market. So now we look at those results. Again, this is the market under 2 million, right? Now we see a different story, don't we? We've taken the luxury out of the market. If you know me, I'm running around all the time saying there's a glut in the luxury market because there's hardly anything in escrow and lots available to buy. So now we take out the luxury and suddenly we have 24 plus 25 equals 49 divided by 47. And what does that equal? 104%. Remember, I said Huntington Beach is like 106 when I ran that number, plugged it into my listing presentation and presented that to the sellers. I'm like, we can expect to get at least this fair market value or maybe a little higher. And what did we get? We were evaled at $1,497,000 and we sold at $1,525,000 because we priced right and got lots of competition. Now, are there more questions? There might be in the
No.
lab, right? On Tuesday, we might have more questions.
I do have one question. I missed this part. How did you get rid of, you said there was like a senior part. How did you get rid of that on the criteria?
I got rid of that because they're attached homes. And so I went to the criteria. And then at the bottom here, it says property attached. And it usually is just blank like that. But I said no attached. I do not want it attached.
Okay.
If I take that back out, that number on the bottom here goes from 96 to 113. That means there's 17 properties that are in that comp. I can almost guarantee. I'll go look at them right now just to prove it. They'll be the low side of the market, so I'll just arrange everything by price, and there they are. Well, this is
me
a
see.
different townhome complex,
But it's attached.
but it's attached. And then you get into the active stuff. It will be, some of this stuff is gonna be an escrow too, but I've got it arranged by price. Any questions, Karina?
No. No.
She said no. Here's what I'm wondering. Do you think you can present this? If you go back to the listing presentation, armed with your understanding now of fair market value and how to use adjustments and guidelines for appraisal, Jacob, you made a little change to yours and now you're in the pocket, right?
I don't understand what you mean.
So you had your guidelines too wide on the size. And when
Yes.
you emailed me that, I said, nah, they're too wide. And so you squeezed them back down to 25% plus or minus. So you got
Yeah.
that now. So you've seen, the error of that. Now you could go back and pretty confidently, I think when you keep doing these, you could pretty confidently go, this is appraisal guidelines and adjustments for your house, and the fair market value is $962 and, 125, what? 962, 125 is the value of your house.
And then when we do that, when we do the CMA and we get it on the adjustments, the fair market value is the average or the median?
It's the average.
The average.
The
Okay,
average
that's what I thought.
adjusted price.
Just wanted to double check.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like I could take this. I would like to do a couple more for sure, and especially more with the basic market statistics, since this is my first time doing it, do a couple more. And I feel like
Yep.
I could take it right now, but I think if I do more and am a little bit more confident, it'll come across a little bit cleaner.
Yep. I think you should be doing one a day. It's like any other prescribed medication. Take it daily until you feel better, I'll tell
So
you
when you
guys. Yeah, go ahead, Karina.
So are you talking about the fair market value to be like the one we used to send to you?
Yes,
Fair market value.
I would do one every day on some sort of property in a market that you sell.
Okay, in the market that you
And you guys, I sell markets all the way into the mountain communities, all the way across as far as Redlands and to the coast and all the way back. I mean, I don't sell San Diego typically, but I sell all LA, Orange County, and the valleys. And the mountain communities. I don't sell a lot in the mountain communities, but I have sold there. You want to see really messed up supply and demand, Jacob, go look at the mountain communities.
I might take a look.
Yeah. And between these two things, between fair market value and supply and demand, you really have all the components you need to work this strategy. Now, do the work. I mean, I can teach you how to play guitar. You're gonna have to play some guitar in order to be a guitar player, right? I can teach you market economics. I have taught you market economics. Now you got to do it to call yourself a market economist. Excuse me. So we have a few minutes left. I want to use these for you guys, whatever you need. Can I share with you one last thing since nobody chimed in?
Yes.
Sure.
I mean, I'm really proud of this. So
It's a good-
the listing presentation I use is a total of 18 pages. Excuse me. I usually skip through the first 3. I'm like, yep, there's my team. There's what it's like working with us. Here's our goals for you. I start to teach them about how we arrive at value, and then I teach them appraisal. Then I jump into the art of praising, things I've done. So I go through all those, but I really want to concentrate on the ones I showed you today, those 3 really fundamental sheets, right? They are this one, and that one.
So Dominic, you sent that to us, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I can send it to you again, so it's at the top of your email, Karina. But I really want to concentrate on teaching them appraisal, showing them what it does for them, the demand. And I put this in different ways depending on who I'm meeting with, but generally it's like this. Sometimes I swap it over and I stick it like this. So I teach them supply and demand, then I show them the example, a couple of different examples, and then I go into their supply and demand, right?
Bert, quick question on supply and demand.
Yep.
Do we have to do a timeline, like go 3 months back, or
Well, no, that supply and demand is like Zen. It's
Mhm.
you have to be in the moment. It's now. You can't pick up really the demand from 3 months ago. You don't need to. They need to know where they're at right now when they're about to list. And so I give them more macro, right? I give them all of Orange County right now is running at a 64% demand ratio. But hey, you're in luck. Your house is in Huntington Beach. So if you think you're special, you are. There's more demand.
So let me ask you, Dominic. So let's say, for example, if it's an expired listing, properly priced and still did not sell, what do you think happened there?
It it's still a pricing problem. Because if it's priced right and the condition's wrong, it's still a pricing problem. If it's priced right and the showing, it's not really available, it's hard to show, or it's tenant occupied, that's still a condition, right? We think of condition as, what kind of upgrades it's had or not had, or maybe if it has some, you know, something wrong with
Right.
it, or holes in the walls or whatever, right? That we think of that as condition, but condition is also the house on the right and the left, and whether it's next to a busy street or whether it's hard to show,
So it's a
right?
combination of everything, right?
Yes, it's
When you talk about the
everything,
condition, it's not just the
but
condition
it's
of the home,
but it's
but the
still
whole
a
thing.
pricing problem. Karina, I'll tell you, in some parts of our market, the minute you get even a mile away from the beach, sometimes even right on the beach, if a home is priced at its fair market value right now, it won't sell for weeks. It's priced right and it's not selling.
That's my question. If it's priced right, so what else is holding it back from not
You're,
selling?
we're using priced right in 2 different ways. I don't think priced right is your version of priced right. You're saying the fair market value is priced right, and I'm saying for this market, 5 to 10% is priced right. That's
Okay.
below the fair market value.
Okay. Got it.
I mean, hey, the fair market value for 8202 Mary Circle was 1497. We priced it at 1399. That is what I think is priced right. We got multiple offers, all cash, no contingency, closed in a week. My seller thinks that's priced right. And by the way, it's still above the fair market value, so I think that's priced right.
So when you price it at that price, the 1.3 or something, that is what, 5% or 7% the fair market
Yeah.
value?
I think that was 6.5% below
Okay.
fair market value.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Here's my favorite slide, right? Because it's the very end, it's the culmination of our marketing effort that we do. We're going to talk about this next week, right? Part of value demand is understanding how to create more demand with the marketing. And so we're definitely going to talk about that in the trade up program. But the very end of my listing presentation is this slide or this one sheet. And this is the timeline for the marketing plan. I call the plan. And right in the middle is the grand opening. So I use this to end the presentation. And I would say, Karina, so, all we need to do now is figure out when you can have your grand opening. Because you see, here's the marketing plan that I discussed. And the grand opening is right in the middle. It's usually after about a week or 10 days. So today is October 16th. Obviously, that's Thursday. We can't have the pictures done and back to us and get your house camera ready. We just can't do that for at least, 2 days. And that would be Saturday. So the soonest we could have your grand opening would be next Saturday, which is October the 25th. Does that work for you?
It's about 10 days. Okay.
Does that work for you? Does October 25th work for you?
Yes.
Great. So all we need to do now is sign the contract. I've brought it so you can look it over and we can wet ink it if that's convenient.
Yes.
Great. End of presentation right there. Boom.
So you bring the listing contract, right?
I do bring the listing contract. If nothing else to walk them through it, we're there. I got to answer questions. They're like, wait a sec, I thought it was 5%. No, it's only my commission that we contract for now. We don't contract
Okay.
for the buyer's side.
Right.
They may ask you to cover that. That's called a concession. They may ask you to do that, but for right now, we're only contracting for what I get paid, which is 3%.
Right.
And I cover that on this slide beforehand. So I don't usually have, hey, just one last thing about commission, because I cover that beforehand. I would recommend that you use this slide.
Yeah, that's why you're going to send it to us, right? It will be on
Yeah.
top of our email.
Yep. Any questions, you guys? We're at 12:57. I know we started a couple minutes late. Apologies again for my technical Zoom difficulties.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So when the appraisal comes in lower than what they have offered, I know sometimes they'll ask for a price reduction on their offer. Do you counter that whenever you guys send out counters, or how do you guys deal with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the buyer can actually contest or question the appraisal if it's done incorrectly, and sometimes they are. So I would use my fair market value with adjustments and take it to the appraiser at least to say, hey, this is what's up. I also meet the appraisers at my listings,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and or for some reason, if I'm not meeting them, I already have their email and I ask them, you know, do you need my comparables? And, you know, a lot of times they'll kind of give me a heads up one way or another.
It's always good to meet the appraiser anyway.
Yeah,
If you
I
have-
think it's good.
Yeah, because I know with at least what I was taught from some of the people in my office, if it was appraised for 1497 and they put an offer for 1525, they'll ask to go down to 1497. Is that something that you see or
Not
no?
when
Not
they're
really.
all cash, baby, and they remove the contingencies
So
at the
that's the
contract
difference.
signing, and
So you
we
get
got a
it.
second.
You get it removed in the beginning.
Well, it's already gone. There's no appraisal contingency. It's all cash.
Yeah.
There's no loan contingency, and there's no appraisal contingency. They remove them all in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
But that's because that's a very good strategy. If for some reason, especially in your area, Jacob,
Yeah,
you,
we get a lot of loans.
yeah, you might be in a position where the market starts to shift, the demand comes back, but the appraisals are pulling comps from back here, so they actually appraise under. That's where you say to the appraiser, hey, we got 6 offers. It's sold, you know, under competition at X. And I'm also going to vet the buyer as the listing agent. I'm vetting that buyer for their ability to bring cash in to make up any difference. They've bid it up above its fair market value. And in the beginning, I'm going to have them go through my lender. That's why you see Dean's picture on the team thing, right? That's my lender right there. So he's part of my team. He vets my offers that have loans. All right, my light went off for the last time. That means it's dark, baby. We're done.
Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. See you later.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being the best part of value demand.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.